You're here because you're still having problems with your connecting of your automation device, or perhaps you did get it connected but you're just having a few teething issues, maybe a few dropouts or Wi-Fi issues. Look, I can help you with that and still save you time. My name's Andrew from the LED group ROBUS. Let's go into video troubleshooting number 2. Let's delve deeper into the problems that you may be having and let's get those hurdles overcome. Let's source the problem, and these are the things to look out for. So some of the automation devices that you will find in a lot of people's homes nowadays, not just lighting or cameras, but also like your doorbells, your iRing doorbells. We've all seen them on the front of your door so you can make sure that your courier driver is dropping all your gear on the front of the door, to your door ringers. But look, every single device that you have in your home on your Wi-Fi network, they all must have a connection. So a lot of the issues that we're finding that we get phone calls from our customers in the technical department are when your average home has got so many Wi-Fi devices. And if you're not sure, check with your actual provider, your telco provider, on your modem, because most of them will only support between 10 and 15 connections of Wi-Fi at the same time, consecutively. So if you are one of those families where you've got your phones, laptops, smart TVs, tablets, you've got your all new air conditioning, your fridges, a lot of devices are Wi-Fi nowadays. Now how many people are in the house? 3, 4, your devices are starting to count upwards. You start adding some lights or maybe some security cameras around your house. You're getting a lot of dropouts. Or if you're like me and you watch Netflix or Stan or any of those streaming shows, maybe you've got that wheel of death we've talked about, where you've got your signal dropout. You're having port issues. That means you're exceeding the amount of Wi-Fi devices that you can connect to your network. If you're having or experiencing these issues, I would suggest a mesh system. There are a few out there, and there's quite many that you may be aware of, and name brands like Netgear, D-Link, Netcom, Google, for example, which we have here. Also TP-Link. We tested and tried quite a few of them. And one that we will recommend, and I personally have actually purchased a couple of them now, and that is the TP-Link unit. The reason why I went with something like this was because it's easy to use, it was simple to set up, and it was up and going in a matter of minutes. And look, you don't need your computer to actually connect and use it. As we discussed in number 1 version of the actual troubleshooting guides, is you had to access your back of your modem to disable the 5G. Some people feel not familiar with that, or they feel scared and they're going into the setup. Some people do get scared of it. With the Deco on the TP-Link, you can use your phone as an app, and within 5 minutes you can be up and running with a completely different Wi-Fi network running alongside your existing home network without making any changes to that network. So the TP-Link mesh system that we actually tested, we found was actually a lot more easier to set up. We had it going within 5 minutes. So these are the units of one of many that the company actually make. Now let's go through and actually break down what a mesh system is. Now in the past you used to get Wi-Fi extenders, Wi-Fi repeaters and things like that. They only repeated or made your signal stronger, so you could actually connect to your Wi-Fi device or your network further away. But you're still limited to the amount of ports that you have or how many devices that you can connect to your Wi-Fi network. The TP-Link units, we found that you can connect up to 100 devices. And even with the Google unit, you're able to connect up to 25 devices. But having the mesh system will allow you to have more than one of these units, so you can have multiple spread out amongst your house. So if you do have a double-story house, or if you're having problems with distance or signal range, you can expand your Wi-Fi mesh system to have more of these units around your house. And they all talk to one another, so they can all expand your network and make it larger, less dropouts, more port connections with your Wi-Fi devices. So let's talk about how these units can actually connect. So like your existing network, your Wi-Fi will transmit its SSID. Again, the mesh systems have the capability of doing 2.4 and 5G. And we'll show you on the Deco app that we have and how easy it was to disable the 5G on an app base using the Deco system rather than using your modem's setup and having to go through your computer on the back end. It's so much easier and faster. Okay, so let's do that now. So you've downloaded the ROBUS app. Just close that off for the moment. And if you do have Go the Deco unit, download the Deco app. Very simple on installation. Once you've actually got that set up, you'll actually set up a Wi-Fi with your own SSID and what you want to call the actual network. Also a password. Now that runs parallel to your existing Wi-Fi. So you don't need to adjust or change any of the devices that you've got currently connected to that system. You may find you want to move some of those devices over to the TP-Link network because you've got a stronger signal, you've got more ports, and especially if you're experiencing any dropouts with any of your existing gear, that's the cause. So maybe you can bring it all over to the actual TP-Link system. So after you've installed the Deco app, as you can see, let's go through and let's find the actual system. There it is there. Home network. Make sure that you've got your phone connected to the network that you want to connect your home automation device. So we have our phone connected. So now we know that's operational. We've got the name of the network here. We've got ROBUS Test as the owner. So now let's go into the ROBUS app and let's add our devices. New device, light source. Make sure that we're on our 2.4 gigahertz frequency. So as you can see, we now have the ROBUS Test, the name of the network, password. Click Next. Now it's asking us to make sure that the light or the device that you've got is actually flashing before we connect. Put a little tick in that area, but before we click Next, actually connect the device that you've got, whether it's the downlight or the automation device, connect it. If it is a light, make sure that that light is actually blinking. And once you've got that going, click Next. As you can see, the countdown will go down from 2 minutes, counting downwards, looking for the devices. Your device, if it stops flashing, that's an indication that it's found it. It is going to carry looking on for more devices, but usually you'll find it'll come up in 20 to 30 seconds once it's found all your connections. As you can see now, it's come up and it has a downlight coming up. At this point here, you can tick the little pen device and you can call it whatever you like. Let's just call this downlight test and save. You can also have it allocated to a certain room or a location in your house, whether you want to call it living room, master bedroom, office, or you can even make a new one in the main menu screen. Once you've done that, click Done. And there is your actual device. So from here you can control the brightness, the color, and if it's a LED strip that you're connecting, you can actually change the color palette and so on. Now, what I might add, for those now looking at the camera, you can see we've got the light which is connected and you can change the color tone on that, which works great. Now, the reason why this is very important, and that is when you use a home automation device, its connection has been given what we call an IP address. Okay, every Wi-Fi device or every network device that you have connected to your computer network for your own home network must have an IP address, even the Wi-Fi units. So we've just allocated and connected that unit to the network. It's been given an IP address. Now, if you're not sure on how IP addresses work, when you turn those devices off, the IP address that it was given will get lost. It's forgotten. It's only there when it's connected. So in some devices like phones, laptops, iPads, that's not a concern because they can connect using any IP address. So when your phone or your laptop come into your home network or your office work network, it will automatically connect to the Wi-Fi system and it will be given an IP address. It could be 192.168.1.15, for example. It could be 1.20 for another example. But it will get given an IP address. Now, where this gets a little bit more difficult is with home automation devices like your doorbell, for example. When you set this device up, it gets given that IP address. Now, home automation Wi-Fi devices are actually cloud-based. And this means that all the information that you actually keep for that device, whether it's your doorbell or even your lighting systems or your smart cameras, all the settings are stored in the cloud. And your device has to be turned on for you or for that device to access whilst it's in use. So if you turn that device off, you lose that access. But when that happens, when you then turn it back on again, there is a slight possibility chance that that device goes looking for its IP address that it was given when you first set it up. Maybe you've actually connected a phone or a laptop prior to that. And if you have, there is a slim chance that that IP address that once was with your automation device has now been given to a laptop or to a phone or any other device. This will cause your home automation product to have an issue. It can't find the address that it was connected to. So quite often, if it's a light, it'll start flashing because it thinks that it wants to do its connection again because it's lost its address. So a common problem when you're connecting and disconnecting lights or even cameras when you turn them off at night time. So how do you overcome that? Much easier when you have a mesh system, especially the TP-Link one. As you can see now, let's go to the app and I'll show you how to do it very simple by what we call address reservation. And before we go to the screen, I just want to actually let you know what it's doing. And that is the IP address that was given to the actual device. Every Wi-Fi device has a MAC address. Now a MAC address is the serial number or the manufacturer's serial number of that Wi-Fi device. And every device is different. Every MAC address is different. So when we reserve the address of that product to the Wi-Fi network, we are locking that MAC address to that IP address. So even if you turn that product off, when you turn the power back on again, that address is reserved for that particular product with that particular MAC address. So there is no possibility that any other Wi-Fi device will get given that MAC address. So that flashing or disconnecting will go away. Great issue, solved. So let's check the app and I'll show you how easy it is to actually change and reserve the IP address of a matter of a couple of clicks. Watch. Let's go to the Deco app. So now you can see on the main app homepage for the Deco unit, we have the two devices that we've got connected to the mesh system currently. One is the phone, the next is the Taylor downlight that we just connected for testing purposes only. And we want to lock in their address under the reservation. So if they get turned off or they move out of range or for whatever reason, when they come back, they'll keep the same IP address as the day that we connected them. Simply on the bottom where you've got overview and more, let's click more. And in this menu area here, you can see a lot of settings that you can do. And I do recommend playing with those settings and actually getting used to the mesh system because there's a lot of things you can do as even under parental controls. You can actually set certain times for your kids where they can have internet access or on and off. But more importantly is the router settings in the top. As you can see on the top here, if you are connecting your devices, check the Wi-Fi. And as you can see here, you can actually see the 2.4 and the 5G, and being able to disable the 5G just by tapping the little 5G symbol there, we've now disabled the 5G. So a lot simpler than using your computer to access your modem's Wi-Fi setup where you didn't know how to do it or you felt uncomfortable doing it or you contacted your telco provider. This is simply a couple of keystrokes on your phone as an app, much, much simpler. So we've got the devices connected. Let's just go back now. And under the advanced screen here, we will see address reservation. So at any point you can go in and use this when you've added new devices to the network, at any point. So let's go in and address reservation. Let's create one. And there are the two devices that we've got currently connected to the network. So let's just do one at a time here so you can see we can go back in at any time. Let's connect the ROBUS phone. Put a little tick in the box and click done on the top right hand corner. Now that device has actually now been reserved, and the IP address, as you can see on the screen, 192.168.68.100, with that MAC address is now reserved. No other device will have that IP address given to it. A lot simpler. And you can go back to a screen and back out of the main menu. But now let's go back in and see how easy it is to add an extra device and how quickly it is. Advanced, reservation, click on the plus symbol on the top right hand corner, and now there's the devices listed that are not connected or have not been assigned to address reservation. Just by putting a little tick in the circle and click on the top done, that's now allocated it. It'll drop back to the screen and show you the devices that are currently connected. As you can see, the new Taylor Wi-Fi test light has been given the address of 192.168.68.102. I hate to talk technical terms to you guys, but look, it's an IP address. We all have to have them connected, but this is a simpler way of actually showing the connection and how easy it is. So we can now go back out of our main screen. There's your ROBUS Connect app, and we have the light there. Now you can disable that from the PowerPoint, switch, whatever you like, and when you re-enable the power again, it will always have that IP address given to that device. Much simpler, much quicker and easier. And don't forget, if you've actually just done your connections, let's actually go back into the Deco app because we haven't enabled the 5G. So we may not be getting our best communication with our video streaming. Again, on the More, Wi-Fi, 5G tap, and done. So how to enable and disable 5G as quick as that, as you can see, is much quicker than going into your modem setup. So as you can see, with the actual Deco app, very, very simple to use, operate, and the functionality of the units themselves. So in summary, versus the extenders or the repeaters, you've got more ports available for more devices that you actually find that you will connect to your system. There is no hub required to use a normal functionality, but as we progress in our homes, we're starting to get more Wi-Fi devices such as your doorbells, the ringers, your downlights, your strip light. All these devices, Wi-Fi communicate. So we need to make sure that they've got that constant connection. So again, if you've got any of these things dropping out or with lights, maybe they're flashing consistency. That is one good reason why the mesh system ticks that box, and it actually gives you that expansion on the ports that a repeater or an extender does not do. It does far more extension on the range because you can add more to these and make your network larger and larger and larger. So where are these mesh systems available? Look, any good electronics store you can grab them from, or online. You've got JB, you've got Bunnings, you've got Officeworks, any good computer wholesaler. And look, a lot of them price match amongst each other. We found that the testing on the TP-Link ticked all our boxes, price, the speed of how quick it was to get in and get out. But one other little key thing that we did look at, and that was, especially for you contractors, if you know that you're going to actually install a fair bit of devices in your customer's home, in preparation, grab your customers what they'd like a username to be or a password, because you can actually commission these or set these up in your office. So when you do get to your customer's location, it's already preset. You've got your devices already loaded. You've got your address reservations saved in the app, and the app can just be downloaded on your customer's phone and it will synchronize across. Much quicker install, get in, get out, and the pricing so much easier and cheaper for you. Look, I hope I've answered all your questions for it. If we haven't, please contact our ROBUS technical department if you've got any questions or if you want any help on that. But otherwise, if you like the videos, look, click like, and if you have any other questions, Give us a call with any ideas that we can actually do some more videos on or troubleshooting for you. We're here to help and save you time and money. Thank you again for watching.